In the last episode, the girls' global network had reached an unprecedented scale, with communities sprouting up in every corner of the world. She had become a beacon of hope, inspiring millions to take action and create change. But with great power comes great responsibility, and she knew that the real challenge was only just beginning. Silence. The weight of the world rested on her shoulders, and the weight of her thoughts threatened to crush her. She stood at the edge of the rooftop, the city lights twinkling like stars below, a gentle breeze rustling her hair as she gazed out into the darkness. What was the point of it all? Was it just about building a network, or was it about building a better future? And what did that even mean? She thought back to the early days when it was just her and a handful of friends, passionate about creating change. They had been driven by a sense of purpose, by the desire to make a difference. But as the network grew, so did the complexity. Different cultures, different languages, different agendas. It was like trying to herd cats, except the cats were people and the stakes were their lives. The wind whispered secrets in her ear and she shivered. She was losing herself in the chaos, in the constant battle to keep the network afloat. She was forgetting why she started this in the first place. A soft voice behind her broke the spell. "Hey, you okay?" She turned to see one of her closest friends, Maya, standing in the doorway. Maya's eyes were dark with concern, her brow furrowed in a deep frown. "Yeah," the girl lied, forcing a smile, "just enjoying the view." Maya didn't buy it, but she didn't push the issue. Instead, she walked over to stand beside the girl, gazing out at the city lights. "We got a message from the New Delhi community," Maya said, her voice low and urgent. "They're having some issues with the local government. We need to figure out how to support them." The girl nodded, her mind snapping back into focus. This was what she was good at: problem-solving, mediating, finding solutions. But deep down, she knew that this was just a band-aid on a much deeper wound. What was the point of building a network if they couldn't address the root causes of the problems they were trying to solve? What was the point of empowering communities if they didn't have the tools and resources to create lasting change? The girl's eyes locked onto Maya's, a spark of determination igniting in her chest. "We need to do more," she said, her voice firm. "We need to think bigger." Maya raised an eyebrow, but the girl could see the curiosity in her eyes. "How?" Maya asked. The girl took a deep breath, the wind carrying her words away into the night. "I don't know yet," she admitted, "but I'll figure it out, I always do." The city lights twinkled like stars, a reminder that the world was full of possibilities and the girl was just getting started. Maya nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "You will. You always do." The girl felt a surge of gratitude towards Maya, towards her friends, towards the entire network that had become her family. They believed in her, even when she didn't believe in herself. As they stood there, the city lights casting a magical glow over the rooftop, the girl felt a sense of resolve forming inside her. She would figure it out. She would find a way to address the root causes of the problems, to create lasting change. "We need to call a global meeting," the girl said, her mind racing with ideas. "We need to bring everyone together to share their experiences, their knowledge, their perspectives. We need to create a collective vision for the future." Maya's eyes widened. "That's a big undertaking." The girl nodded. "I know, but we can do it. We have to do it." Maya nodded, her expression determined. "I'll start making the arrangements. When do you want to hold the meeting?" The girl thought for a moment, her eyes scanning the horizon. "In 6 weeks. We'll give everyone enough time to prepare, to gather their thoughts, to come together." Maya nodded, pulling out her phone to start making notes. "I'll get to work on it right away." As Maya walked back into the building, the girl remained on the rooftop, the wind rustling her hair, the city lights twinkling like stars. She felt a sense of excitement building inside her, a sense of possibility. She knew that this global meeting would be a turning point, a moment of truth for the network. It would be a moment of clarity, of direction, of purpose. The girl's eyes locked onto the horizon, her heart pounding with anticipation. She could feel the world shifting, slowly, incrementally, but shifting nonetheless. And she knew that she was ready, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, ready to create a better future, not just for her network, but for the world. Over the next few weeks, the girl threw herself into preparations for the global meeting. She worked tirelessly with her team, coordinating logistics, creating an agenda, and sending out invitations to communities around the world. As the meeting drew closer, the girl could feel the excitement building, not just within her own team but within the network as a whole. People were eager to come together to share their experiences, to learn from one another. The day of the meeting finally arrived, and the girl stood on the stage of a sprawling convention center, looking out at a sea of faces from every corner of the globe. She felt a sense of pride, of awe, of wonder. This was it. This was the moment. The girl took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the room, her heart pounding with anticipation. She knew that this was just the beginning of something big, something beautiful, something that would change the world forever. "Welcome," she said, her voice ringing out across the room, her words echoing off the walls. "Welcome to the future." The silence between them was palpable, thick with unspoken questions and doubts. Maya's eyes never left the girl's face, searching for a glimmer of the passion that once drove her. The girl's gaze faltered, her eyes darting away, but Maya's grip on her arm was like a lifeline, holding her back from the precipice of uncertainty. "You can't do it alone, you know that," Maya said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We're in this together always." The girl's nod was almost imperceptible, but Maya saw the faintest glimmer of determination rekindle in her eyes. "What do you need from me?" Maya asked, her tone soft but resolute. The girl's eyes locked onto Maya's, a spark of creativity igniting in her mind. "I need you to gather the council," she said, her voice steady. "We need to have a meeting to discuss the future of the network." Maya nodded, her face set in determination. "I'll make the calls. When do you want to meet?" The girl's gaze drifted back to the city lights, her mind racing with possibilities. "Now," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We can't waste any more time." The weight of the world still rested on her shoulders, but with Maya by her side, she felt a sense of hope, a sense of purpose. She knew that she couldn't do it alone, but together they could move mountains. The rooftop seemed to fade into the background as the girl's mind whirled with possibilities. She saw the network as a web of interconnected threads, each one representing a community, a person, a story. And she saw herself, standing at the center, pulling the threads together, weaving a tapestry of change. The city lights twinkled like stars, a reminder that the world was full of possibilities, and the girl was just getting started. The meeting was set for dawn in the old warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The girl spent the rest of the night pacing, her mind racing with ideas, her heart pounding with anticipation. She knew that this meeting would be different, that this time she would come prepared with a plan, with a vision for the future. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the girl stood at the edge of the rooftop, her eyes locked onto the warehouse in the distance. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders, and stepped forward into the unknown. The fate of the network, of the communities, of the world, hung in the balance. But the girl was ready, her heart ablaze with determination, her mind sharp with purpose. She was the spark that would ignite the flames of change, and she was just getting started. The silence between them was palpable, a living, breathing thing that pulsed with the rhythm of the city below. Maya's eyes never left the girl's face, her gaze piercing as if trying to see into the very soul of her. The girl's words hung in the air, a challenge, a promise, a declaration of war against the status quo. Maya knew that tone, that fire in her eyes. It meant the girl was on the cusp of something new, something revolutionary. "What's stirring in that head of yours?" Maya asked, her voice soft, her tone gentle. The girl's gaze drifted outwards, her eyes tracing the contours of the cityscape. She was seeing beyond the buildings, beyond the people, into the very fabric of society. "I want to create a new system," the girl said, her voice barely above a whisper. "One that's not based on power or greed, but on empathy and compassion. One that empowers people, not just communities." Maya's expression was skeptical, but the girl could see the glimmer of excitement in her eyes. This was the stuff of dreams, of fantasies, of utopias. But the girl was dead serious. "We can't just tinker around the edges," the girl continued. We need to rebuild from the ground up, create a new economy, a new way of living, a new way of being. Maya's eyebrows shot up. That's ambitious. The girl turned to her, her eyes burning with intensity. That's the point. We've been playing it safe for too long. We've been reactionary, not revolutionary. It's time to think bigger, to dream bigger. The night air seemed to vibrate with the weight of her words. Maya's expression was thoughtful, her mind racing with the implications. "What's the first step?" Maya asked, her voice measured. The girl's smile was enigmatic. "That's the easy part. The first step is to gather the right people, the dreamers, the rebels, the ones who are tired of the status quo, the ones who want to create a better world, not just talk about it." Maya's eyes locked onto the girl's, a spark of excitement igniting in her chest. "I'm in," Maya said, her voice firm. The girl's smile widened, a sense of purpose, of direction, settling into her bones. "Then let's get started," the girl said, her voice filled with determination. The city lights twinkled like stars, a reminder that the world was full of possibilities and the girl was just getting started. But this time, she wasn't alone. This time, she had an army of dreamers behind her, ready to change the world. As the girl's words faded into the night, Maya nodded, her expression a mix of determination and trepidation. The girl could sense the unspoken question hanging between them: what did thinking bigger really mean? But Maya knew better than to push her friend when she was in this mode, when the wheels were turning and the gears were clicking into place. The girl's eyes snapped back into focus, her gaze piercing through the night air. She turned to Maya, her voice low and urgent. "Get me everything we have on the New Delhi situation. I want to know what's happening on the ground, what the government's stance is, and what our people are saying. I want to know it all." Maya nodded, already reaching for her comms device. "I'll get it to you within the hour." The girl nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. She turned back to the city lights, her eyes drinking in the beauty of the twinkling landscape. But her thoughts were already elsewhere, already racing ahead to the next step, the next move, the next solution. As Maya disappeared into the darkness, the girl felt a strange sense of calm wash over her. It was as if she had finally found her footing, finally remembered why she started this in the first place. The weight of the world was still there, but it was no longer crushing her. She took a deep breath, the wind carrying her words away into the night. "It's time to think bigger," she whispered, her eyes locked onto the stars. The city lights twinkled in response, as if echoing her words, as if urging her on. Over the next few hours, the girl devoured every piece of information Maya sent her way. She pored over reports, analyzed data, and scanned social media feeds. She spoke to community leaders, local activists, and government officials. And with each new piece of information, her vision grew clearer, her plan taking shape. She saw it: a world where communities weren't just empowered but enabled. A world where people had the tools and resources to create lasting change. A world where governments worked with communities, not against them. The girl's eyes sparkled with determination as she gazed out at the city lights. She knew it wouldn't be easy. She knew it would take time, effort, and sacrifice. But she also knew it was possible. As the night wore on, the girl's team began to gather around her, sensing the shift in her energy, sensing the new direction. They watched as she paced back and forth, her words tumbling out in a rush. "We need to build alliances with local governments," she said, her voice firm. "We need to create programs that address the root causes of the problems we're trying to solve. We need to think bigger." Her team nodded, their faces set with determination. They knew that when the girl got like this, there was no stopping her. As the night wore on, the girl's vision took shape. It was a plan that was ambitious, audacious, and perhaps even a little crazy. But it was a plan that could change the world. And as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the girl felt a sense of excitement, of anticipation. She knew that the real challenge was only just beginning, but she was ready. She was ready to take on the world. She was ready to think bigger. The silence between them was palpable as Maya waited for the girl to elaborate. But the girl's mind was already racing, piecing together fragments of ideas, searching for that elusive thread that would weave it all together. We need to get to the root of the problem, the girl said, her eyes scanning the horizon as if searching for inspiration. We need to create a system that empowers communities to create lasting change, not just temporary solutions. Maya nodded thoughtfully, her brow furrowed in concentration. That sounds like a tall order. Where do we even start? The girl's gaze snapped back to Maya, a fire igniting in her eyes. That's exactly what I'm saying. We've been so focused on putting out fires, on reacting to crises, that we haven't stopped to think about how to create a system that prevents those crises from happening in the first place. Maya let out a slow whistle. You're talking about revolutionizing the way we approach community building. The girl nodded, her hair flying around her face as she turned to face the city. I'm talking about creating a new model, one that's sustainable, one that's scalable, one that actually works. The wind carried the sounds of the city, a reminder that the world was waiting for them to act. Maya's eyes locked onto the girl's, a spark of determination igniting in her own chest. Let's do it, Maya said, her voice firm. The girl's face broke out into a radiant smile. Let's do it. Together, they stood on the rooftop, the city lights twinkling like stars below as they embarked on a journey to create a better world. The next morning, the girl gathered her team around the conference table, a whiteboard marker poised in her hand. Maya, Jax, Layla, and Rohan were all present, their faces set with determination. Okay, let's get started, the girl said, her eyes scanning the room. We need to identify the key components of a sustainable community building model. What do we need to make it work? Jax, their resident tech expert, spoke up first. We need a platform that can scale, something that can handle the volume of communities we're talking about. Layla, their social media strategist, nodded in agreement. And we need a way to connect communities, to create a network that shares knowledge and resources. Rohan, their financial analyst, scribbled some notes on his pad. We need a sustainable funding model, one that doesn't rely on grants or donations. Maya, their community liaison, spoke up last. And we need a way to empower communities to take ownership of their own development, to create leaders who can drive change from within. The girl nodded, her marker moving swiftly across the whiteboard as she outlined their key components. This is just the beginning, the girl said, her eyes scanning the room. We have a lot of work ahead of us, but I know we can do it. The team nodded in agreement, their faces set with determination. They knew that the road ahead would be tough, but they were ready to take on the challenge. As they dispersed to start working on their respective tasks, the girl couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. They were on the cusp of something big, something that could change the world. But as she gazed out the window, she couldn't shake off the feeling that they were being watched, that there were forces at play that they couldn't yet see. A shiver ran down her spine as she turned back to her work, her mind racing with possibilities. She knew that the world was full of mysteries, but she was ready to uncover them, one step at a time. The girl's eyes locked onto the city, her heart pounding with anticipation. She knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with danger, but she was ready to take the leap. For the first time in a long time, she felt alive, felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. And as she delved deeper into her work, the city lights twinkling like stars in the background, she knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one that would change the course of history forever. As she pored over reports and data, the girl's mind was ablaze with ideas, connections forming between seemingly disparate threads of information. She devoured research papers on sustainable development, community empowerment, and social entrepreneurship, her hunger for knowledge insatiable. Maya, Jax, Layla, and Rohan worked tirelessly alongside her, each contributing their expertise to the burgeoning framework. The office buzzed with energy, the air thick with the scent of freshly brewed coffee and the hum of collective determination. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the girl called a hasty meeting with her team. "I think I've found it," she said, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "The missing piece to our puzzle." The team gathered around her, their faces expectant. "What is it?" Maya asked, a hint of skepticism in her voice. The girl's words tumbled out in a rush. We need to create a decentralized network of community hubs, each one serving as a catalyst for local development. We can use blockchain technology to create a secure, transparent platform for resource allocation and knowledge sharing. Jax's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. That's genius. We can create a self-sustaining ecosystem where communities can support and learn from each other. Layla nodded thoughtfully. And we can use social media to amplify their stories, to create a global movement for change. Rohan's brow furrowed as he calculated the financials. It'll be a massive undertaking, but I think we can make it work. We can crowdfund the initial setup costs and create a sustainable revenue model through subscription fees. The girl's heart swelled with pride as she gazed at her team. They were the architects of a revolution, crafting a system that would empower communities to drive their own destiny. As they worked through the night, refining their plan, the girl sensed a subtle shift in the air. The city outside seemed to vibrate at a different frequency, as if the very fabric of reality was beginning to unravel. And then, just as suddenly, the sensation vanished, leaving behind an eerie sense of calm. The girl exchanged a knowing glance with Maya, a hint of unease lurking in the shadows of her mind. They were on the cusp of something monumental, something that would change the course of history. But they were not alone in this game, and the girl wondered what hidden forces were working against them. As the night wore on, the city lights twinkling like stars outside, the girl felt the weight of her vision bearing down upon her. She knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with peril, but she was ready to take the leap, to shatter the status quo and forge a new path. For the first time in a long time, she felt the presence of her mysterious benefactor, their enigmatic message echoing in her mind. The world is not what it seems. The truth is hidden in plain sight. The girl's heart pounded with anticipation as she delved deeper into the labyrinth of her own destiny. She was about to uncover secrets that would change the course of history forever. As she pored over reports and data, the girl's mind was ablaze with ideas, connections forming between seemingly disparate threads of information. Suddenly, the lights in the office flickered and the hum of the computers paused. The girl's team looked up, their faces illuminated only by the soft glow of their laptop screens. "What's going on?" Layla asked, a hint of concern etched on her face. Rohan's fingers flew across his keyboard, his eyes scanning the lines of code. "I think it's a systems failure. I'm trying to reboot the mainframe." The girl's gut told her otherwise. This was no ordinary glitch. She felt it, a presence hovering just beyond the edge of perception, like a whispered secret in the darkness. "I think it's more than that," she said, her voice low and even. "I think someone's trying to send us a message." Maya's eyes met hers, a spark of understanding flashing between them. What kind of message? The girl's gaze drifted to the window, where the city lights seemed to pulse in a strange, rhythmic pattern. "I'm not sure, but I think it's connected to the mystery of my benefactor. They're trying to tell us something, but what?" Jax's eyes narrowed, his mind racing with the implications. "We need to get to the bottom of this. We can't let some unknown entity compromise our mission." Layla nodded, her determination evident. "I'll start tracing the digital trail, see if I can find any clues." Rohan grunted, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "I'll try to hack into the mainframe, see if I can find any hidden messages or codes." As the team scattered to their respective tasks, the girl felt a shiver run down her spine. She was walking a thin line between destiny and danger, and one misstep could mean disaster. The air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy, as if the very fabric of reality was bending to accommodate some hidden truth. The girl's heart pounded with anticipation as she delved deeper into the labyrinth of her own destiny. She knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with peril, but she was ready to take the leap, to shatter the status quo and forge a new path. For the first time in a long time, she felt the presence of her mysterious benefactor, their enigmatic message echoing in her mind. The world is not what it seems. The truth is hidden in plain sight. The girl's eyes locked onto the cityscape outside, her vision blurring as she felt the presence drawing closer, its whispers growing louder, clearer. She was about to uncover secrets that would change the course of history forever. The question was, would she be able to handle the truth? The girl's eyes lingered on the cityscape, her mind still resonating with the cryptic message. She felt an inexplicable connection to the unknown benefactor, as if they were guiding her towards a hidden truth. The air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy, and she sensed that the fabric of reality was about to tear apart, revealing secrets that had been concealed for centuries. Maya's gentle touch on her arm broke the spell, and the girl turned to face her team. "Let's get back to work," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil brewing inside. "We have a revolution to ignite." The night wore on, the team fueled by a mix of adrenaline and caffeine. They worked tirelessly, poring over diagrams and flowcharts, refining their plan to create a decentralized network of community hubs. The girl's vision took shape, a master plan to empower communities and challenge the status quo. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the team paused, exhausted but exhilarated. They knew they were on the cusp of something monumental, something that would change the course of history. The girl's phone buzzed, breaking the silence. She hesitated, her heart racing as she read the message on the screen. It was from an unknown number, the words typed in haste. "Meet me at the old clock tower at midnight. Come alone. The truth awaits." The girl's instincts screamed caution, but her curiosity got the better of her. She felt an inexplicable connection to the mysterious message, as if it held the key to unlocking the secrets of her past. "I need to take a walk," she said, her voice casual, trying to hide the turmoil brewing inside. "Clear my head." Maya raised an eyebrow, but the girl avoided her gaze. She knew that she couldn't share this secret, not yet. The message was hers alone to decipher. As she stepped out into the crisp morning air, the girl felt the city come alive around her. The sounds of the awakening metropolis seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy, and she knew that she was being drawn into a world beyond her wildest imagination. The clock tower loomed in the distance, its ancient stones whispering secrets to the wind. The girl's heart pounded with anticipation as she approached the mysterious meeting. She was about to uncover secrets that would change the course of history forever. And as she stood before the clock tower, the wind whispering secrets in her ear, the girl knew that her journey was only just beginning. The world was not what it seemed, and she was about to uncover the truth. She pored over ancient texts, scouring the pages for any hint of the truth. The words blurred together, a jumbled mess of ink and parchment, but she refused to give up. Maya slipped into the room, her footsteps silent on the carpeted floor. "You've been researching for hours," she said, concern etched on her face. "You need to rest." The girl barely registered her words, her focus fixed on the texts. "Just a few more pages," she murmured. But Maya's presence was a gentle reminder of the world outside her research. The girl's gaze slowly shifted, her eyes refocusing on the present. She rubbed her tired eyes, the motion sending a wave of fatigue crashing over her. "I think I've found something," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Maya's curiosity was piqued. "What is it?" The girl's fingers danced across the pages, tracing the intricate calligraphy. "An ancient prophecy," she said, her words dripping with awe. "It speaks of a great convergence, a time when the fabric of reality will be torn asunder." Maya's brow furrowed. "What does it mean?" The girl's eyes sparkled with a hint of madness. "I think it means that our work is just beginning. We're not just building a network of community hubs, we're creating a portal to a new dimension." Maya's skepticism was palpable, but the girl barely registered it. She was too caught up in the thrill of discovery, her mind racing with the implications. As the night wore on, the girl's team gathered around her, their faces aglow with excitement. They pored over the ancient texts, their collective genius unraveling the mysteries of the prophecy. The girl's heart thrummed with anticipation, her vision expanding to encompass the infinite possibilities. She was no longer just a community builder, she was a dimensional architect, crafting a bridge to a new reality. And yet, as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the girl couldn't shake off the feeling that they were playing with forces beyond their control. The prophecy spoke of a great convergence, but it also warned of unseen dangers, of rogue entities that lurked in the shadows, waiting to strike. The girl's thoughts were a jumbled mess of hope and fear, her heart pounding with anticipation. She knew that they were on the cusp of something momentous, something that would change the course of history forever. But as she looked around the room at the faces of her team, she knew that they were in this together. They were a family, bound by their shared vision of a better world, and together they would face whatever lay ahead, their hearts afire with courage and determination. The girl's eyes locked onto Maya's, a silent understanding passing between them. They were ready to take the leap, to shatter the status quo and forge a new path. For in a world where the fabric of reality was about to be torn asunder, they were the architects of a new dimension, crafting a bridge to a brighter future. As she delved deeper into the labyrinth of her own destiny, she felt the weight of her vision bearing down upon her like a mantle of responsibility. The team's discussions continued late into the night, the air thick with the scent of freshly brewed coffee, and the hum of collective determination. Maya's eyes locked onto hers, her gaze piercing with an unspoken understanding. The two of them connected on a level that transcended words. Rohan's brow furrowed in. The city's twinkling lights seemed to pulse in rhythm with her racing thoughts. The girl's mind was a maze of questions, each one leading to more mysteries. Who was this benefactor, and what did they want from her? What secrets lay hidden in plain sight, waiting to be unearthed? Maya's gentle touch on her shoulder broke the spell, drawing her back to the present. Hey, we've got a solid plan in place. Let's get some rest and tackle the next steps in the morning. The girl nodded, though her mind was already racing ahead, forging connections between seemingly disparate threads of information. She knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with peril, but she was driven by an insatiable hunger for knowledge, for truth. As she drifted off to sleep, her dreams were a kaleidoscope of images, each one more vivid than the last. She saw herself standing at the edge of a vast, uncharted landscape, a landscape pulsing with an otherworldly energy. She saw the faces of her team, their eyes shining with determination as they worked tirelessly to build a better world. And she saw the benefactor, their features obscured by shadows, their eyes gleaming with an ancient, knowing intelligence. The girl awoke with a start, her heart pounding in her chest. The room was bathed in an eerie, pulsing glow, as if the very fabric of reality was beginning to unravel. She threw off the covers, her mind racing with the implications. This was no ordinary dream, it was a message, a warning from the unknown. Maya stirred beside her, her voice groggy with sleep. What's wrong? The girl's voice was barely above a whisper. I think I know what's coming. I think we're on the cusp of something monumental, something that will change the course of history forever. Maya's eyes snapped open, her gaze locking onto the girl's. What do you mean? The girl's words tumbled out in a rush. I think our benefactor is more than just a mysterious figure. I think they're a guardian, a keeper of secrets that have been hidden for centuries. Maya's brow furrowed as she processed the information. What secrets? The girl's eyes gleamed with an unspoken knowledge. I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to unravel the thread of fate that connects us all, and I'm going to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. As she spoke, the room seemed to vibrate with an electric energy, as if the very fabric of reality was beginning to unravel. And in that moment, the girl knew that nothing would ever be the same again.